Hello friends, it's Miss Dom, and today we're going to make a tessellation. So tessellations have a lot to do with math. A famous artist named M.C. Escher created all kinds of fantastical tessellations, and you can learn about M.C. Escher and the art and math connection in the video on the right hand side. Also on the right hand side is another very simplified sort of animated version of what I'm going to show you, so you can watch that again if you're not understanding what I'm telling you. Today we're just going to get started. I don't expect you to finish this today. It does take time to make these tessellations, and so today you're just getting started. You're going to need a square sheet of paper, a small square sheet of paper. You should have gotten one with your supplies, and then a larger piece of white paper, but we're starting with the smaller square sheet of paper. Now, on this square sheet of paper, I've drawn two shapes, and you don't have to draw the shapes that I drew. Any shapes will do. As a matter of fact, I did multiple ones before I did the tessellation that's on here, and I'll show you what that is in just a few moments. Okay, so you are going to have to use your imagination. You may have to try it a couple times. I only gave you one small square of paper. If you have any note paper like this that's square, this is actually too small, but if you have a square one, this does. Okay. Sticky note paper works, or just cut a piece of square paper, or just go with the first one you do. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So you have shape on one side and a shape on another side, okay? So one that's either on the left or the right, and one that's either on the top or the bottom. And what we're going to be doing is a slide. So we're going to be sliding our shape up if it's on the bottom, or down if it's on the top. And then this shape is going to slide across, and I'm going to show you that right now, okay? So you're going to need scissors, and you're going to need tape, and you're going to need your paper. If you don't have those things, you might want to get them. But here we go. I'm going to cut this shape out. Okay. And so now I've cut it out. Now this shape is going to be pretty easy to match up because I have the edge right on the corner there. So when I slide it up, I just have to put it right on the corner again, like that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and tape that there. Okay, so I got just a piece of clear tape, and I'm going to tape it on the back where I'm holding it here. It's a little easier if you're doing it on a table. Okay, so now that's there. Now I'm going to take this other shape, and I'm going to cut that shape out. Now that shape is not on the corner, so I have to be careful when I put this shape across, so I want that shape to be in the right spot. Okay, so I've cut this shape out, and now I've got to slide it across like so, but I need to know where to put it. So one thing that you can do is, if I take this piece right here and go like this, and kind of, you don't want to give it a perfect bend, you just want to place it right there. So I know that this piece goes right there. Okay, that's how far down it should be from the top. Okay, so that, show this to you real quick. This section right here and this section right here should be the same. Okay, so when I slide this across, I want to match up that edge. So the closest you can get it to being in the same distance from the top, the better your shape will be. It's a little bit off, your tessellation will be a little bit off. If it's a lot off, it's a problem. If it's a tiny bit off, you can work with it. The one that I've been working on is slightly off. Okay, so now I've got this shape. So the technical part is over, and now you need to get creative and try and think about what this shape can be. And you can turn it any direction you like. So if I turn it this way, this sort of looks like a dog head. I don't know if you can see that very well. So I have like this little pointy ear right here. So I could take my pencil and I can kind of draw that in. So maybe you'll see it a little bit better. So I've got an eye here. I'll turn it around in just a minute. Okay, so I've got like the eye and the snout and the ear, and then it could be some sort of fantastic dog creature that has a wing flying through the air. Okay, so there it is. Now if I turn it this way, you might see something else. You might see, maybe this is a big mouth, the teeth, I don't know. And here's the eye, and it's like a big munching mouth. Okay, so you can be, kind of have some fun with the shape. It's going to be an odd shape, and you just sort of have to think about what it could be. If I turn it this way, maybe it could be an elephant, and this is the trunk, or an umbrella. You just have to use your imagination. Okay, so here's one for a shape that I did earlier, and I turned it into a little frog prince. So the frog prince is sitting there, and he's got his cape that's draped over his shoulder, and there's his little frog hand on his frog scepter, and his frog crown, and you can see his little froggy face. Okay, so that's what I saw when I looked at this shape. Now you may see something different. If I hold it this way, it might look like something else, but that's what I came up with. So again, today, making the shape and then figuring out what you want it to be will probably take most of your time that you have for art, and that's okay. So the next step is to trace it onto a piece of paper so it repeats. So if I take this shape and I put this shape right here, you can see how it fits, and then when I slide it across, okay, it's going to fit again, and then I slide it across again, and so on and so forth. There shouldn't be any gaps. Okay, do you see how they all fit together like puzzle pieces? And as you can see, I have not added the details. Okay, again, just making the shape is what I want you to do, and then figuring out what the shape can be. And then if you have time, you can go ahead and put it on the big paper and see if it tessellates. If there are gaps, if it doesn't fit like a puzzle, you probably did something wrong. Again, if it's slightly off, you'll notice if you look at mine, I don't know if you can tell, maybe like in this section right here, it might be just a tiny bit skinnier over on the other side, because just to make it fit. Yeah, so if you look at this space right here and then this space over here, they should be the same, but they're slightly different. Okay, so my shape didn't tessellate 100%, but it's still basically. If you have a big gap, then that's a problem. If you have a tiny variation because of just your square wasn't a perfect square, not a big deal. Just make it work. Okay, so that is step 1, day 1 of making your tessellation. This is the most challenging part of it. After this, you're going to have some fun, and I'll talk about options for coloring it in and so forth. But this is what you need to come up with. And again, yours does not have to be a frog prince. Yours can be whatever you imagine that shape becomes when you look at it. Just have fun with it. So enjoy learning about tessellations. Try making one, and we'll continue with it next time. Bye.